Reefdvms coming to you here today with an update on what we're doing in the sump area with basically a cleaner head and a quarantine tank addition and some minor parts that have arrived. One of the things that we realized in evaluating our system is that we were going to have the collection cup for the recirculating reef octopus skimmer dumped down into the bottom, and we'd empty it from the bottom weekly or as needed, which means we don't really want to have to take off the collection cup and deal with unhooking all the tubing and stuff. So with that being the case, to keep the skimmer operating, at the best we can, we thought it might be a good idea to try out one of these cleaning heads. So this is an automated cleaning head that's built for the Reef Octopus skimmer, and it's probably going to get hooked up, well, basically right to our apex to run 5 to 10 minutes each day. So again, what we did is we popped the top off the skimmer, literally pulled this out of the box and stuck it in the skimmer. It's got two silicone blades that move nice and slow and clean the inside of the skimmer cup, keeping it from collecting waste and slowing down the production, which is not what we want a skimmer to do. We want the skimmer to optimize its production of particles in the surfactant and then bubble it into the collection jar. So this keeps the neck of the reef octopus running great, and this will probably help us a lot because, again, we don't plan on taking off the skimmer cup a lot. We'd rather it just drain down into the bottom below and deal with it that way. So that addition has been done. The other thing that just recently arrived came from Synergy Reef. We had them put together a couple different pieces of equipment for us, and it came very nicely packaged, made about a 1,200-mile trip. In good shape, really. I'm quite pleased with how it made it. But what we bought was a new quarantine tank. Faceplate came for the sump. And then we also bought a custom-made, basically mud holder for the refugium part of the sump, where we can choose to put mud in and grow some algae and some mangroves and stuff like that, and yet be able to remove it easily for cleaning and maintenance versus the typical scenario where people, put the mud in and then you have to try and scoop it out and figure out how to clean it out if you don't like it and so forth. So one of the nice things about using, Synergy Reef is Rick over there is really into the fun colors with the sump, and this sump needed to actually be lower than, this quarantine tank actually needed to be lower than the previous quarantine tank because of the sump above it. The sump is set at a level where we can reach in it very easily, and then that makes the shelf down a little bit. Henceforth, the quarantine tank that we currently have under there, there's not a lot of room above the quarantine tank to work, so we constantly have to slide it in and out. So this custom quarantine tank is replacing this old quarantine tank. So I'm taking my PVC pipe out of the old quarantine tank. I'm not going to throw this tank away. I might use it for fragging or something else. But I'm going to put in the new one, and as you can see here, this new quarantine tank made by Synergy Reef is quite a bit lower, a little bit deeper, and pretty much the same length. So it should hold the fish in here quite nicely. Yes, I'm considering putting a screen on it. We'll see about that here. Really, at this height, there's a good chance if we put a small jumping fish in here that it could leave the quarantine tank. So that'll be probably something I have to create in the future. Again, I really like the fun colors that you can get. This is the neon green, I guess, custom made, like I said, mud holder that we're going to use. This mud holder is designed by us and made by Synergy Reef, Rick over there, to basically handle our needs for our couple inches of mud that we want to put in, and to help us also with holding our little containers like this little mangrove container. This container is made so we can stick our little plant in it and helps keep it upright until it gets developed, and we really like that little container. We've used that in the past, and we can put that right in the mud chamber there, and then when we don't want the mud, or if we want to change the mud, we can just reach into the sump and pick this whole device up, which is full of the mud, take it out and clean it. So here is the quarantine tank before we filled it with water, and I just kind of wanted to show it to you with the lights on it, show you how it lights up. I think this is what's cool about, colored acrylic tanks like this. here it is with the white on it, and I'll switch it over to the white and blue here, and then of course just to the blue lights on it. It's just a simple LED light with a timer built in from Marineland. Nothing I'd grow corals with, but a great little light that works pretty nice here for a QT tank. We're going to put our little filter and stuff on it here in the next week or two, and we'll show you an update of that as we get going. And then, of course, we'll be using this tank quite extensively for quarantine again as soon as the big tank upstairs gets started and going. Thanks for watching, folks.